everybody. Welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Sinead DeFries, and this is The Daily Show, where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us, as always, is your editor-in-chief for AMC Movie News, John Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you live from right here at the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California, and we are so glad you decided to make us part of your day.
Also here is AMC's Mark Ellis.
Hey, and I'm going to be one of the two guys at the table without a tablet.
And AMC's Christian Harloff.
My phone's broken. That's all I got.
And AMC production manager Dennis Zen.
Hey everyone, I'm excited for the party tomorrow. 100 million view party tomorrow?
Yeah, we should mention that right up front because I'm always forgetting to mention it till the end. But as we've mentioned on the show before, we, thanks to you guys, our YouTube channel has crossed the 100 million views mark. Thank you so much for hanging with us all this time. But tomorrow night, that's Friday, December the 12th at 6 p.m. LA time. That's 9 p.m. New York time. We're going to be doing a live broadcast special episode of AMC Movie News from right here as a part of our big 100 million view celebration party that we're having. We're going to have like hundreds of AMC Movie News fans in here with us, joining us as a live studio audience. You guys, we're going to take some of your live Twitter questions that night as well. It's being hosted by our very own Sinead DeFries and Maud Garrett is going to be hosting as well, which I'm excited to see these two do it together. So, with all that out of the way, let's hop to it.
Has everyone had their Happy Meal today? A new report out of The Hollywood Reporter reveals that Saving Mr. Banks director John Lee Hancock will next direct The Founder, a movie looking at the origins of the world's most dominant fast food chain, McDonald's. The script is said to be a cross between The Social Network and There Will Be Blood. Apparently, Tom Hanks was approached for the lead role and turned it down, but that was before Hancock was attached to direct. Birdman's Michael Keaton is also said to be up for the lead role. John, can a movie about McDonald's work?
Yeah, it absolutely can work, as a matter of fact, because you're talking about, okay, put the McDonald's part of the side. It is one of the biggest, most established, long-running, generational franchises in American history, right? But on top of that, here's what it has going for it. Much like The Social Network, like how do you make a movie about Facebook? Well, there's a story to be told there, but more importantly for the audience, Facebook has become one of those things that all of us have in common. We all use Facebook. And so when you can create a movie around a shared social experience that everybody has had an experience with together, you have something there you can draw people's attention in. You still got to make a good story behind it, and fortunately for The Social Network, they did that. Who hasn't been to McDonald's? I mean, as much as you can be a vegan and you've been to McDonald's at some point in your life. We all have. We all share that one common experience. And so you've got fertile ground with a long-lasting franchise that's existed for so long, that's been a part of all of our lives on one level or another. Yeah, this is ripe, fertile ground. Now, one of the rumors about Tom Hanks having turned down the gig, but now that his director from Saving Mr. Banks, which I thought that was a great movie, is on board. Maybe he comes back, but maybe Michael Keaton takes the role. This could be something that's an afterthought a few months from now, or could be something really, really special. But for me, I'm excited about hearing about it. Dennis?
Yeah, I think they can totally make a movie out of it. Because remember, it's about the people and the relationships. I think the whole thing of McDonald's and what you're talking about with the Facebook movie, it just lends more weight to it, because then you see, okay, well, whatever they're fighting over actually has a lot of worth to it. So reading about Ray Kroc and how he kind of wrested the ownership away from the McDonald's brothers who actually created it is a fascinating story. However, when they describe the script of a Social Network meets There Will Be Blood, I don't know if John Lee Hancock is the right director for that sensibility and tone. I mean, he's done Saving Mr. Banks, which I liked and enjoyed. He did Blind Side, and he also did The Rookie. Those are all very heartwarming, family-friendly films. When I think of Social Network, and especially There Will Be Blood, those are not family-friendly at all. So I don't know what kind of spin he's going to take on it.
But There Will Be Blood did mention a milkshake.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something to consider.
Christian?
There's a counter to that, too, because if you look at what Hancock did with Colin Farrell's storyline, it's pretty. He went to dark places in that movie as an alcoholic, and really where Colin Farrell's character, who I thought was
stole the show,
but that was also because of Hancock's direction. So I think Hancock will be able to pull it off. I would love to see Michael Keaton just doing the, you guys want to like get a Big Mac or something? Anything along those lines to have him now that he's back in the spotlight. I love the idea of a Social Network meets There Will Be Blood. That gets me excited. Yeah, you could. I would like to see John Amos have a cameo from
McDowell.
No, but seriously, I think that there absolutely could be something very special. I mean, we talk about it on this show all of the time, is team. What team do you put together in order to make a product and tell a story? You can tell a story about anything if you have the right team. I really believe that, as long as it might take a little more work than others, depending on what the subject matter is. But this is something that could be something very special. Like you said, it could be Oscar or it could be forgettable.
Mark?
I was waiting for a movie to give Star Wars competition for my most anticipated. And I've only been to McDonald's like 7 times this week, and I think that it's not only my favorite, but like those French fries are amazing, right? And so when I first heard about this movie, I'm like, oh, cool, we can make Wendy the villain, or like I think Schnepp and I were talking about how it'd be McDonald versus Burger King, they could attack each other. But then you start thinking about, oh no, wait, if it's the backstory about how McDonald's actually came into prominence, like what Dennis said, the McDonald brothers, they started that franchise, and then a few years later is when Ray Kroc came in and was like, oh, I'm the business manager. Then he kind of took control. I really am interested in how that all went down and what the creation was of the McDonald's brand when it started to become a real franchise. Was that the McDonald's vision for it, or was it just going to be their little barbecue joint, and was it Ray Kroc's genius that took it to the next level? And then you have to ask the question, when did the clown become the spokesperson? When did Ronald McDonald come into?
Well, you also got to ask the question: who photoshopped that brilliant picture? That's great. Look at him chomping down that burger.
I think Ray did that.
That's the look that I have about an hour after eating at McDonald's. Like, I should have done this probably.
But I think what Dennis, what you brought up is going to be the absolute key here is, does the movie focus on the people? Because that's what There Will Be Blood did. That's what the Social Network did. They took this shared experiencing Facebook, the shared experiencing oil, the shared experiencing McDonald's, but they made the movie about the people behind it, and that's what made it great.
I was going to say, with Ray Kroc, I guess to tell a little insight into who he was, after he got the control of McDonald's, I think he bulldozed the original location in San Bernardino.
Wow.
Like, that's how much he cared about, like, the original founder.
And I guess that's just hearing that. That's why I get the There Will Be Blood. I mean, just hearing
Yeah,
that.
they couldn't have been buddies. Like, hey, let's all go into business
it's the
together.
politics of it all. I want to see
Yeah.
the politics. It's interesting. It's one of the, like you said, everyone knows what McDonald's is. How did that? No one knows what happened. You think Happy Meal wasn't so happy.
Yeah. And talking about like that, I'd love to see Tom Hanks play a cutthroat.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Or Michael Keaton. Either one of those would be great.
It's a win either way. All right, what's next?
In an interview with the Today Show, actress Rebel Wilson revealed that she has met for a role in the planned upcoming Ghostbusters film. Wilson said the following: "I have had a meeting, but who knows? They will have to look at the script when it's finished. I do that for free. I probably shouldn't say that on live TV." Dennis, could Rebel Wilson fit into a new Ghostbusters?
I think she'd be a great fit. I think Rebel Wilson is hilarious. I loved her in Bridesmaids. I loved her in Pitch Perfect. This trailer I keep bashing on because I can't stand it. The Night of the Museum
Awful
3.
trailer.
Awful trailer. The only part I laugh at, though, is Rebel Wilson's short little part in it.
Yeah.
So I think she's a great fit. Reteaming with Paul Feig is great. I think they should bring Kristen Wiig and Rose Byrne, and they can have a three female Ghostbusters.
That
team.
reunion of
Bridesmaids.
Here's the thing. Let's keep this in mind, though. She's had a meeting. Remember how many people had meetings for Star Wars?
Right.
We were it felt like for 3 months straight, every day we heard this person has a meeting, this person having a meeting. They're going to meet with probably 50 people per role.
Right.
All right. So just because she had a meeting, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But obviously, she's got to be in their minds, right? On the question of can she fit into a new Ghostbusters, it's so hard to tell when we really don't know what the new Ghostbusters is yet. I love the trio you're suggesting. I think you can make something cool out of that. But until we get some sort of concept about what direction are they going to go with this, it's hard for me to say. The one thing I'll say about Rebel Wilson, while I find her really funny, I really hope they move Rebel Wilson and whoever is using her in their films, move her away just from the fat jokes. I get it. She's overweight and she has a great sense of humor about it. But I get kind of tired because I've seen her in a number of movies now where it always just goes back to the fat jokes. And not Bridesmaids, the other one.
What, Pitch Perfect?
No, that other Bridesmaids, it wasn't called Bridesmaids.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Bachelorette or something like that, she was in as well. I feel like they always just go back. You know what? She's far funnier than just being heavy. She's really hilarious. And I hope they, if she does come in this movie, that they allow her a chance to really showcase that instead of constantly just falling back to the fat jokes. Anyway, Mark, what do you think?
I think she'd be a tremendous fit in the universe. I think she's hysterical, and I think that this might give her the opportunity to not just going away from fat jokes, but actually just going away from being a comedic sidekick and actually having some sort of dramatic presence.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely within her to be able to do that. Now, what Dennis was suggesting, that cast, I think would be terrific, and I think the more I think about this Ghostbusters film, I think they're doing it the right way. I don't think it's going to taint the previous movies, and I think that it's going to further the universe if you have an all-female cast. I think she's definitely going to fit in there somewhere. Like, I'm almost willing to bet money on it that she's going to be in that movie somehow. She may not even be a Ghostbuster, but she's definitely fitting into that universe.
I bet you she had the same meeting that Melissa McCarthy had. I bet you they're meeting for the same part, if any. I have to be honest, I'm getting a little tired of Rebel Wilson. I think she's very funny, but I think maybe for the same reasons you guys are talking about, it's the same thing. Her show didn't last on television because it was the same thing. She's doing, like, I want to see her in Pitch Perfect too, but again, the same thing. And same thing with Melissa McCarthy. Melissa McCarthy's doing the same shtick, and I think that sometimes comedians fall into that role, and that's why when you're like someone, let's say like a Jim Carrey, or even Kristen Wiig, who did Skeleton Twins, you're moving away and doing other things. So I'd like to see other comedic presence in there. If she gets cast in, I'm not going, oh man, because she's going to be able to deliver. She's funny. I just want, my biggest problem is that she's doing the same thing, the same way Melissa McCarthy is. So is she a good fit in the universe? Is that the question? Yes, she can be very funny depending on the material. I personally just want to see her do more.
See, I agree with you, but I feel like that's more a case of the directors get her as a tool in their tool belt, and they feel like, well, this is what she did before and it worked, and we're just going to use her that way.
But she's got the power now to say it.
I hope so. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
hope if she does get in this, I hope they allow her some freedom to explore and do and showcase some other stuff that she's got.
She had a small little dramatic scene with Kristen Wiig in Bridesmaids when she talks about like how she has no friends.
No, no, no. You're thinking of Melissa McCarthy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting confused.
Right. And yeah, exactly. She's never serious.
I hope whoever's interviewing has a better differentiation.
I love doing Bridesmaids.
Was that a wig? How about those dogs?
All right, folks, it's time for Buy or Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Sinead's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. Then those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So let's get to it.
All right, we got a bunch of trailers for buy or sell today, and we start out with the first true trailer for the upcoming Pixar film, Inside Out. Inside Out follows the emotions of an 11-year-old named Riley, who is uprooted from her Midwest life when her father starts a new job in San Francisco. Inside Out hits AMC theaters on June 19th. Christian, buy or sell the trailer for Inside Out?
Buy this thing. I mean, to keep buying it. Yesterday we talked about it a little bit too, and this seems to me the most intelligent, just anticipated film Pixar's done in a very long time. I mentioned Herman's Head the other day. I'll mention it again.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I was going to do that.
Too bad. It just, the way it's set up, and know that we're not just focusing just on the little girl's thoughts. It's everybody has these thoughts and everybody's emotions, and the back and forth with the father and the daughter and
the mother.
And the reaction and all that stuff, and the way that the brain works and the emotions. I think it's so far, just from the little bit that we've seen, clever. And that is what Pixar did so well, is this clever original material that this looks like it's going to be.
Yeah, it's as funny and as great as this trailer is, and it's a total buy for me. Basically the whole trailer is just a short segment from the larger piece that we've seen previously. And wait till you see the larger piece so it's all in context. I mean, I've said it before, I believe this film has the potential to be the best film Pixar's ever made. I cannot wait to see the whole thing. I think the trailer just feeds into that. I'm super excited, Mark.
And I think this is the most rife with sequel opportunities for Pixar, too, because you can go on and on with this universe. I mean, even in this little clip, you get to see the 3 different heads and the emotions that are inside of them. And some of the casting, some of the vocal talent in here is dynamite, particularly Louis Black as Anger in the little girl's head. I think that is going to be so. The comic opportunities with this film, Pixar's always been known for being able to entertain kids and adults, for making us both laugh at the same thing. This might be the best example of that. So it might not be the best movie they've ever made, but it's definitely going to be the funniest, in my opinion.
Dennis?
I buy it as well. I like that it's a different type of trailer, and the next movie we're going to talk about also is like that, where they're not giving you the same type of thing where they're giving you all the whole story. They're giving you a clip of it, and they're showing you the tone and the vibe of it without giving away everything.
Yeah.
And I was actually kind of surprised, because I thought originally, from that teaser clip before this one, that it was going to be just about the little girl and inside her head, but it looks like it's going to be all the different characters.
All right, what's next?
Next is the new trailer for the upcoming film Mad Max Fury Road. The film is described as follows. Within this world of fire and blood exist two rebels on the run who just might be able to restore order. There's Max, played by Tom Hardy, a man of action and a man of few words, who seeks peace of mind following the loss of his wife and child in the aftermath of the chaos. And Furiosa, played by Charlize Theron, a woman of action and a woman who believes her path to survival may be achieved if she can make it across the desert back to her childhood homeland. Mad Max Fury Road opens in AMC theaters on May 15th. Mark, buy or sell the Mad Max Fury Road trailer?
I'm glad McDonald's is so cheap because I'm buying this one too. This looks so awesome. And even from the previous trailer that we saw that kind of got us into that world a little bit, this one did that even more so. Seeing Tom Hardy as this role, I was always in on him playing this role. Watching this take place, this is now one of my most anticipated films in 2015. I can't wait for this to come out.
Dennis?
Oh, it's a big buy for me. Like I said before with the other trailer, this is a different type. It doesn't even feel like a modern trailer to me because of the music and the way it's cut together. It's kind of like a controlled chaos. It gives you like a tease of it. I mean, it could totally suck. We don't know, but just visually, it looks so fantastic. And it's interesting. The last few movies George Miller has done is Happy Feet, Happy Feet 2, and I think Babe in the City.
And almost a Justice League movie.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget about that.
But I think this looks fantastic. And I definitely, it's jumped up my list as well. Probably like third, probably behind Star Wars and Age of Ultron.
Christian?
Yeah, big buy. I mean, this looks like Road Warrior style to me. We're back to what we loved about Mad Max. Love that George Miller is doing this, and everything that's set up. And I agree 100% with Dennis. Is that you get enough that you know exactly what you're going to have from this film as far as tone, but they're not ruining story for you. You get enough of what you need in there, and the imagery and everything. It's so intense, and that scene with the sandstorm at the very end, and Charlize Theron, who looks like she's just one of the best out there.
Oh yeah,
and
she is.
And you can tell, even in the limited stuff you see of her, she's bringing it 100%. And to her go up against with Tom Hardy together, it is absolutely on my most anticipated list for next year.
It's a good thing I already know for a fact that this movie is great because this trailer's awful. I sell it. This is it's a terrible trailer. It's a terrible trailer.
Wow.
And it's a good thing I know that the movie's so good because if I didn't already know that the movie was great and I just saw this trailer, I would think the trailer to me feels like a trailer from Hollywood mocking Hollywood trailers. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like a big mess.
Like some of the beginning of Tropic Thunder?
Yeah, it felt seriously.
I'm shocked too. I think the trailer is brilliant.
But like I said, it's a good thing I already know that the movie's great because otherwise the trailer wouldn't have sold me
But it's
at all.
funny because I echo Dennis's sentiments because he said this thing could suck because he doesn't know if it's good or not, and I don't know if it's good or not. But this, you know what I loved about it, John, was the cockiness. This movie feels like it knows it's really good, and it's not relying on the fact that it's a reboot of something that we already are aware of. A lot like what the Star Wars teaser was, where it opened with this arrogant tone about it, where it's like, hey, we're telling a story, and we know that you already love us from the past, but here's something new for you. That's what got me into this trailer.
It doesn't use the same kind of musical cues that most modern trailers use today. Like, it's totally with the music.
Michael Winslow, ladies and gentlemen. That was awesome.
All right, what's next?
Okay, last up is the new trailer for the comedy sequel, Hot Tub Time Machine 2. In the sequel, when Lou, played by Rob Corddry, finds himself in trouble, Nick, played by Craig Robinson, and Jacob, played by Clark Duke, fire up the hot tub time machine in an attempt to get back to the past. But they inadvertently land in the future. Now they have to alter the future in order to save the past, which is really the present. The movie hits AMC theaters on February 20th. John, buy or sell this new trailer for Hot Tub Time Machine 2?
I buy it a lot, and I like it a lot more than the first trailer they put out for this thing. Like, I'm one of these guys, we were talking about this before the show started. The first Hot Tub Time Machine is stupid. Like, make no mistake about it, it's stupid. But it made me laugh a lot, so I ended up really liking Hot Tub Time Machine. Very nervous. I feel a lot of trepidation about this new one, but this trailer, you were just playing it on your phone, and I was standing. I've seen it already, and I was laughing a lot watching it. Especially that we got to go back to what was it, 17, whatever. Yeah, you won't be real welcome there, but let's go.
Right.
Like I thought it was really funny. So yeah, it made me laugh. The job of trailer, get you more excited about the movie. It did that for me. So for me, it's a buy.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen the first Hot Tub Time Machine, but it was a little late, and I had a few drinks in me at the time. So just watching this
10 minutes
trailer,
ago.
just between Coors Light and McDonald's, you don't just look like this, kids. You got to earn it. Watching just the trailer for me, it was the perfect comedy trailer because it gave 3 really good jokes in there that hit hard. It had a really funny premise, and it didn't give away anything else. I felt like watching this trailer that there was a lot more where those jokes came from, as opposed to where they're throwing every good joke they have at you. The trailer. I think there's a lot of comedy in here. This could be hysterical.
Christian?
Yeah, I agree with Mark on this. I'll buy the trailer. I am in the minority of people. I know people love the first one. I didn't like the first one.
You're not in that big of a minority.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, because every time I say I didn't like it, everyone yells at me. But so I went and I saw it, and I wanted to love the first one. And I was like, it's okay. The second one gets, I think it looks hysterical. I agree with Mark. I think there's a lot more in there, and I like that they're giving Craig Robinson more to do. It seems like, and it's probably because John Cusack is not in this one. But the jokes in this trailer, everyone I saw so far, they hit. The rhythm hits. The chemistry hits. So I was like, okay, I'm excited for the second one. Maybe I'll like the second one a lot more than I like the first.
I'm just thinking about that line. You look like Gandalf the Poor.
It was a really well set up trailer, and it's hard to do that in comedy trailers, to set up that many jokes and hit on that many jokes in the trailer.
Especially with a sequel.
Yes, absolutely, and I think that's because they took a little time because they're supposed to come out this year.
That's right.
And I think they took a little time with it, and that could sometimes, a lot of times, reshoots and those type of things are dangerous. But with a comedy, sometimes it could be beneficial. It looks like that's the case with this one.
And February could be the perfect time of release
That's
for a
why
movie
I'm
like
inspired.
this. Yeah.
Because if it had come out in January, I'd say, uh-oh, here comes a turd. But the fact that it's coming out in February, that means they have confidence in it.
Yeah. Dennis?
I buy it as well. I enjoyed the first one, and I think this trailer looked funny. This is one of those movies where it doesn't have to even be better than the original. As long as it's just as good or just as funny, because I enjoyed it, I'm looking forward to it. And I think, yeah, you guys are right. The trailer has a bunch of great punchlines in it. I just hope they didn't use them all up.
All right, folks, we reached that part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, if you're watching us live, we're also going to save a couple of minutes at the end of the show to take some of your live questions. You can start tweeting in questions live to @AMC Movie News, and Sinead will pick out a couple at the end of the show. But for now, let's get to the mailbag. So, Sinead, what do we got?
Julio Guzman writes, with Sony having doubts about their Spider-Man franchise, is the Sinister Six still happening? Or have they decided to put it on hold for now?
I mean, the true answer is who knows?
Right.
I mean, as far as I know, they're still planning and they're still doing some work on Sinister Six. That is the last that I heard. They're still moving forward. But as we talked about on yesterday's show, we know that Sony in January is having what they're playfully calling a Spidey Summit, where they're getting their key producers and their key executives together to really figure out what direction, what they're doing with the Spider-Man universe. So while, to my understanding, they're still developing Sinister Six, that could all change come January. They may really put the foot to the floor on that in January, or they may pull it out entirely. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, I believe it's still moving ahead. Have you guys heard anything different?
No, but I agree. They can't rush it. They have to, because this is their lifeline right now. So they either have to sell it back to Marvel or find a way to do something with Marvel, or they really need to have this summit, put all their things in place, and make a good plan, and make sure if you're going to do Sinister Six, you make the best one, because the fans are like, okay, what are we doing here, guys? Because the fans are, if this movie is bad, that's it. It's over.
Don't you think this is one of those movies, though, where that premise is one of the leading candidates when they have the Spidey Summit in January? It's like, this is a really good concept to go in with that could potentially save the Spider-Man franchise.
Sure, but
I think that storyline is one of the leaders.
Yeah,
But they
just
might
don't have the
merge
team.
it.
Yeah.
They might merge it into just Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah,
of
that's
having a
another thing they
separate
could
movie.
do. Yeah.
It's so dangerous, though, too, because they just don't have, like we talked about yesterday, they just don't have the creative team in place. They don't have the Feige. They don't have the Sujihara. They don't have that person there. It's just kind of, oh, what do we do? What do we do?
And after reading through all the emails that we saw from Sony, we really saw that there is a decided lack of focused leadership. That becomes a breeding ground for everybody gets to put their hands in their pie, as opposed to a Warner Brothers, a Sujihara can say, no, stop this nonsense right now, we're doing this. Right. Where a Kevin Feige can go, stop this nonsense right now, we're doing this. It sounds like Sony needs that right now.
No, speaking of those emails, I mean, that whole leak right now over there, they said, like, they can't use their email, they can't use their computers, people aren't getting paychecks. Like,
It's like Rocky, they're screaming out the
They're
window.
using those old air tubes when you sub a message in it, it goes upstairs.
When it's like, hey, I have a good Spider-Man idea, send a Raven.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hey, yo, we're making Sinister Six.
All right, what's next?
Giuliano writes, "Hello, AMC movie crew. Love the show. Great part of my day, plain and simple. If Sony took a new direction with Spider-Man to get the original version with Tobey Maguire and the recent version with Andrew Garfield together as a secret war, could this fix Sony's trust with the Spider-Man franchise?"
I want to address, this is an interesting question because, I mean, a lot of the Spider-Man stuff has now come back up again because of these Sony leaks, and understandably so. I first of all want to challenge this whole notion that Spider-Man needs to be fixed. Okay, I'm one of the people, look, I won't argue, even though I liked The Amazing Spider-Man 2, it was, I think, pretty poor, right? Just slightly better than Spider-Man 3, the same Raimi gave us. It was one of the poorest efforts we've seen from Spider-Man. I think there's a lot of things wrong with it, and I can't argue with anybody who really hates it. Like me and Schnepp talk about it. Schnepp hated The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and he and I talk about the movie, and I cannot argue with him. Even though I kind of liked it, yep, that was wrong with it, that was wrong with it, that was wrong with it, that was wrong. There's no arguing. But I will argue with people about the first Amazing Spider-Man. I thought the first Amazing Spider-Man was great. I think it's the second best Spider-Man movie they made behind Raimi's Spider-Man 2. That's just my opinion. But we've had one, if we want to call it bad, we've had one bad film in a row. And it gets a lot, and understandably so, when you get a bad film that's disappointing, because even somebody like me who thought it was pretty good, I still was disappointed by it. I was expecting much better. And a lot of people hated it, and I understand why. And so when you're coming off a film like that so disappointed, it's understandable. The torches start getting raised, the pitchforks come out, and people are chanting, "Give it back to Marvel, give it back to Marvel, give it back to Marvel." But I want to just tell everybody, let's just take a deep breath, take a step back. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that everybody was saying the exact same thing about the X-Men universe. Right. You know, we were coming off that horrible Wolverine film, and then we had, X-Men 3, and, everybody's calling for it, go back to Marvel, go back to Marvel, go back to Marvel. Well, what fixed it? One good movie. As soon as they put out X-Men First Class, and everybody went, oh, wait a minute, no, this works. And then they happened to follow that up with probably the best X-Men film they've ever made, with X-Men Days of Future Past. Now nobody, it always used to be, Marvel needs to get X-Men and Spider-Man back. Nobody says X-Men anymore, because now it's working again. What do they need to do to fix the Spider-Man thing? Just make one good movie. You put out the next, whether it's Sinister Six, like you were saying, they put out Sinister Six, and it's great. It quells everything. It really does. Now, as far as the concept in here about bringing Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, okay, first of all, Tobey Maguire's 40 years old. Right. I don't care what kind of crisis universe you have, nobody wants to see a 40-year-old Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield isn't that much younger, but he is younger, and he's got a baby face. But this whole thing about Secret Wars and stuff like that, that's for the 0.001% of the comic book nerds. I don't think it will help the general movie-going audience. I think stuff like that will just confuse issues for the general movie-going audience. Comic book nerds, like those of us at the table, will get a kick out of it, but it would end with us. So I don't think that would be the right way to go. Anyway, what do you guys think about all that?
I think just as a thing, it's a very interesting idea to make that movie with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. But like you said, I think it just so reeks of desperation at this point, particularly given the circumstances of what's going on at Sony. It would just look like nothing else other than like what Christian said, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Now, having
like
said
a 23 Jump Street with Men in Black crossover? That kind of desperation?
That is so desperate. Oh, my God. It's
but, I also agree with what you said about Spider-Man 2. It's like, look, I didn't think it was horrible. I actually liked the movie. And it was, if you want to put it in sports terms, it went like 8-8 or 9-7 and just missed the playoffs. So it's not a situation where you have to completely blow up that team and retool from the ground up. You still have a lot of potential here with a lot of great storylines you can tell. I think this one's too desperate.
Well, I think if they do Spider-Man 3, what they need to do is they got to get all the cooks out of the kitchen, put one chef there, and let them cook. That's it. Let's make the third movie, because Andrew Garfield is not the problem. Andrew Garfield can carry a Spider-Man film. I agree with you. I like the first one very much. I think that you can make a Spider-Man film with Andrew Garfield, get the right director, let Mark Webb do it, but let Mark Webb do it. Keep your notes away. Let him do his thing. I know studios have to have notes here. It's their product, but don't overwhelm the guy. Let him do his thing. Trust him. If you hire someone, trust him. Let's see obviously what you guys are doing out there at Sony isn't working. Let's make a third film. Let's put together all the pieces. Take your time, and let's see what happens.
What stands out to me, and I think you'll agree with this, is that the issue isn't studio interference. No. Because listen to Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson would always get, Kevin Feige is a studio exec,
right,
and he exerts a lot of control. The difference, though, between a Kevin Feige, a Warner Brothers situation, and this, it goes back to the theme of the day. how many execs are trying to get their hands in the kitchen. You need one exec who says, no, this is what we're doing, and that's what you're doing, and then let the director go and get their notes from one person instead of a gang of 20 people all think they want to
Well, you know what happens
contribute.
also a lot of times, and again, to bring up my days at Warner Brothers, I saw it all the time, is that because people are hired on the desks, the executives, they feel like they have to say something. If they don't say something, they're not contributing. And sometimes you shouldn't say something if you have nothing to say that's going to help.
Kind of like me on this show. Like I feel like I could say something.
You're reading my subliminal messages at least. Thank you for that. And sometimes you need. There are certain guys you need. Like Greg Silverman's a guy at Warner Brothers. Great input. They listen to him. So there are people out there that you need the studio executives. They're creative people and they help. There's other times. Shh. That's it.
I would go with your football analogy, though. Instead of just one good movie, I think they need two. Like it's like when someone comes back the next week on a football NFL game and they win, like everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's back!" You really need to see 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
So I think 2 movies in a row will do it.
But just like, one will help a lot.
It will help a lot, like First Class. But then you kind of hit it home with Days of Future Past.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. All right, folks, we said we'd save a couple minutes at the end of the show for your live Twitter questions, and we're going to do that right now. Maybe you have time to sneak one in. Tweet to us at AMC Movie News, and make sure you're following us on Twitter as well. Sinead is the one who is in charge of this segment here. So, Sinead, what have you selected?
Adrian asks if you guys prefer grounded, realistic fantasy films such as Avengers or full-on fantasy films like The Hobbit.
I've always kind of said this. When it comes to fantasy and suspended disbelief and all that kind of stuff, just tell me as an audience member, what are the rules of your universe? And you can make those rules whatever you want them to be. It can be Asgard, where everybody has super strength and there are magical hammers and all this kind of, you can create that. You can say it's a Christopher Nolan Batman universe where no, everything is the gritty realism of our real world. You can make it Wizard of Oz and have it in a fairy tale type land. All I ask as an audience member is, once you have established what the rules of your universe is, stick within the bounds of that universe. Because when then suddenly you go outside of those things, then it feels messy to me. And it feels like I can't engage myself with it because I don't know where things are going here. So just set what the rules are. Look, Star Wars, you fancy far, far away, right? They've laid groundwork for what the Jedi are and what they are not, what the Force can do and what it cannot do, you know? So and they always kind of play within those boundaries. As long as you do that, it becomes really cool and awesome. Ninja movies are also really good. The ninja movies I loved as a kid, watching all those Shokasagi classics, right? Is when the ninjas are fighting and they're fighting in rooftops, blah, blah, blah. The ninja movies that I did not like is suddenly when a ninja had the power of levitation and could float up to another building. It's like, okay, come on, that's not within the realm of a ninja movie. Come on, give me a break. So just set the rules and then stick to them. What about you guys?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I think although going off the ninja, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon worked for me. It's where they set up the rules.
But that
of what they
was
can do,
their type of storytelling.
Now going into the Star Wars thing, and I know some people are like, stop hating on the prequels. One of the things that Star Wars did so well and not well was in the original trilogy, they set up what the rules were, what the world was, and in the beginning you saw the damaged ships and things that had been there. And then in the new one, they changed stuff up, whether it be everything was glossy 30 years ago, and then Yoda somehow now was doing lightsaber battles and flipping around.
Midichlorians!
Midichlorians and all that stuff. So you're changing the rules, and that's just a Star Wars example. Anytime you change rules inside of your movie universe, it's damaging because you set me up here and now you're doing that. But I love fantasy films. Fantasy films are my, like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I love those movies. But it's just a matter, like you said, just stick to your rules.
Yeah, and to go further with the rules thing is, I think character logic is the most important thing. It doesn't really matter if like all this magical stuff is happening within the realm of your world that you set up. It's whether characters are gonna do these things, or are they turning the plot and the characters to fit a certain thing so they can have maybe a spectacle ending or something like that, just so you can have that great, fantastical visual effects or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I love both styles of film, but I think I tend to skew towards more reality-based. And I look at the Nolan Batman franchise, where I love Batman Begins, because Gotham felt like a city that we've lived in, you know, and it felt like it could be saved, but it also felt realistic enough to where you could see this guy becoming a superhero and actually making some sort of change. And then when that turned into something else, I felt in the second half of The Dark Knight Rises, that's when the movie started to lose me. When we went from this really realistic feel into, we got to drop a bomb in the middle of the ocean. ocean and hope Adam West shows up with shark spray so nothing attacks us. That's when I started to fall off that train a little bit. So I think I'd skew more towards reality.
I think the bat shark repellent was one of the greatest creations in the history of television.
That's very true.
All right, what else we got in the Twitter stream?
Jake asks, could Sony scrap the interview or proceed as planned? Keep up the great work, guys and gals.
Oh, you proceed as planned. I mean, you absolutely proceed as planned. Look, the reality is there's a lot of whispers and rumors of what happened to the Sony hacks and why did it happen, but nobody really knows anything at this point. So, no, you completely go ahead with it. I'm actually going to the premiere tonight, which should be a lot of fun.
And they already started screening. We already saw it, and they screen it already for the press. So that if they're doing that, they're gearing up to release it. And you also, at this point, if North Korea is responsible for the hacks or someone is responsible, at this point, your underwear's down. Just go, hey, look what I got.
Yeah.
Why waste the free press? I mean, all this stuff is about, if it is all about the interview, might as well take advantage of it and get people to watch it.
Yeah, if North Korea is responsible for the hacks, that gives me a little bit of concern because I live in Los Angeles, so I might go to Vegas because the bomb ain't going that far. Right. But I think that for the movie itself, this is great press.
Yeah.
Everything you can use to sell this movie, I think it's a fantastic concept anyway, and the fact that this kind of happened and that you can blame it on North Korea, I think actually works in the movie's favor.
And if you pull it, the terrorists win.
All right, two more really quick rapid fire.
Sundell asks if you've seen the 1996 movie Sleepers with De Niro and Brad Pitt. Is it possible to remake it to make a better movie?
I don't want to remake it.
I think it's one that's actually kind of ripe for a remake. I mean, it's getting to be about the right age. It could certainly do with the new talent. There's a lot of people in the current movie-going audience that hasn't seen it. So if somebody comes along with a really cool, interesting take on it, and they think they can make something good out of it, I have no problem with it. I'm not clamoring for one, but I'd have no problem with it.
I don't want to see it remade. I think it works the way it is. It's not one of those big, huge budget movies that really needs one. It's not going to bring so much box office to, and the performances are great. I like it. Leave it alone.
All right.
No.
All right, what's last?
Jameson asks, if there are serious talks of a 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover, how would it work with one movie being rated R and the other PG-13?
That's kind of easily fixed. You just go up to R, because 21, 22, 23 Jump Street are not going to get out of the R territory.
You think it's an easy deal for the Men in Black franchise?
Well,
though?
here's the thing with the Men in Black franchise. From what we understand with the talks, Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones weren't going to be a part of it anyway, right? So instantly right now, that to me, it's not even Men in Black. But that, you said it earlier, and you were so right. It so reeks of desperation. Now, as far as we know, there was one meeting that Amy Pascal and Jonah Hill had where they talked about potentially crossing over, and apparently Jonah Hill liked the idea. But remember, there's 100 meetings like that every single day where people pitch ideas, and I gotta believe that there are smarter heads at Sony, and that Amy Pascal is far too smart to ever want to pursue a 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover. That just reeks of desperation. Do you guys think any differently?
I would rather be visited by the real Men in Black than have to sit through that movie, because I just don't think that would work. Now, if you want to put a Men in Black joke in 23 Jump Street, that could be hilarious. But having those universes cross over, I can see where there would be some sort of comedic, like a sketch on Saturday Night Live, but an entire movie, especially with how good the Jump Street franchise is.
Yeah. That's exactly it. It sounds more like a Saturday Night Live skit.
Sounds like one of the
could
credits.
work.
It sounds like part of the credits of 22 Jump Street. Yeah.
A cameo is fine, but crossover, that's just way too much.
All right, folks. Well, that'll do it for this installment of AMC Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and, of course, your movie ticket information. If you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video, and you'll find a link to our podcast feed. And don't forget to click the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And join us again tomorrow night, 6 p.m., for our live 100 million views celebration party broadcast. That's going to be great. And just so you know, for those of you who regularly watch us live, there is no live AMC Movie Talk tomorrow. The studio where we do everything live from is going to be hard at work getting ready for our party and celebration thing in the evening. So Dennis and I are going to be doing AMC Movie Talk pre-recorded at like 9 a.m. tomorrow, but it won't be broadcast live. It'll be online, regular time, but it won't be live. Just want to give you the heads up. I want to thank, first of all, the guy sitting at the table with me, sitting to my left, Mr. Mark Ellis. Mark, where can people find you online?
On Twitter and Instagram, 5150 Ellis. If you want to see exactly what I can do to an open bar, be here tomorrow night at the AMC party.
But only if you already have an invitation. I just want to make sure you know about that. Right. Sitting over here on my right, Mr. Christian Harloff. Christian, where can people find you?
At Christian Harloff on Twitter and Instagram. And if you're coming to the party, let me know, because I'd like to meet a lot of the fans. You guys are awesome.
I'm really excited about that party. And way over there, of course, our production manager of AMC Movie News, Mr. Dennis Zen. Dennis, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero or on Instagram, dennis.tzng, and look forward to seeing some of you guys tomorrow.
And way over there, of course, our lovely host today and host of the event tomorrow night, Miss Sinead DeFries. Sinead, where can people find you?
It is at Sinead DeFries on Instagram and Twitter, and at thatsosinead.com.
And you can find me on all the various social media networks just at John Campea. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name is John Campea for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.